All right, boys, let's go back 2 decades. It's a long time in golf equipment timelines. Long irons, traditional long irons, were still a thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we would see them in the bags of tour pros. Weekend golfers had them in the bag. We were just starting to see hybrids really start to ramp up at that point.
Yep.
Now, if you were to look in the bag of a tour pro, weekend golfers, you don't see a lot of 3 irons.
A 3 iron is reserved for the elite ball striker.
Yeah. Now, there are some game improvement versions that we have seen, utility irons out there, but traditional 3 irons, again, not as prevalent as it used to be.
Yep.
And that brings us to a question I think all of us get, which is, all right, which one is the best for me? Because there are a multitude of options now.
Yep.
You still have the long irons with a bit more forgiveness. You have the hybrids, which provide a little bit more compact shape. It's beefier than a long iron.
Sure.
A little bit higher launch. And then you now have the high lofted fairway woods, which, man, we have seen a huge uptick on tour. 7 woods, 9 woods in the bag of guys that have won majors.
I think Gene's playing an 11 wood.
He most definitely is. So, you know, again, we get the question, but let's add some numbers to it. Let's hit a 7 wood. Let's hit a 3 hybrid and a 3 iron. Pretty similar lofts, but you know, there's some differences in the length.
Yep.
But I want to see the numbers. I want to see where the differences lie.
So what we're gonna do here is we've got the machine set up for about 92 miles an hour with a 7 wood, which is the about equivalent of about 95 mile an hour swing with the driver. I'm not doing anything to the machine. Machine's locked. So we're gonna hit a few shots with the 7 wood, then we're gonna pop the hybrid in, and then we're gonna pop the iron in, and we're just gonna look at the numbers, and I'm gonna tell you what I've seen.
Let it rip.
All right, let's go.
Love that launch.
That's a high launch. That's the kind of shot that is going to stick a green. Okay, so this is staying pretty consistent. We are at about 19 degrees on launch angle. We are at about 5,200 on the spin, and we're carrying it about 200 yards. Okay. So that's our baseline. Let's take a break. We're gonna put in the hybrid, and let's see what we get. Whoa.
Man,
you see how much more
down.
boring that is?
Yeah.
Definitely flatter trajectory for
Yep.
sure.
Oh my goodness. Care to
I'm just looking at the numbers.
Care to make a guess how many yards longer?
Just visually, how that ball came out, I'm gonna say 12 yards.
25.
25 yards
25 yards longer. 14-degree launch, 2940 spin.
Huge difference
You
in spin.
shave 2,000 RPM off a spin, you're gonna get something.
And there's not even a massive change in loft here. We're talking at the 7 wood was 20 and a half.
Right.
This is about 19.
Yep.
So it's not a huge change here, but again, I mean, what are you going to attribute this to, and what kind of golfers? Because everybody's watching this now, going,
Sure.
Well, shoot, the 7 wood goes high. It's a lot more spin. This thing feels like a rocket ship compared to the 7 wood.
Absolutely. I mean, when it comes to just demographic of player, 7 wood typically is going to be for that guy that is looking for something that is more forgiving, that might need a little bit of help with launch and spin, and also something that is obviously a long iron replacement that's going to be a club that you are hitting into a green and expecting it to hold. So I mean, when it comes to construction and design of the head, that lower, deeper CG in the 7 wood naturally wants to hit it higher, and I would expect to see a little bit more spin, which we did. So 3 hybrid, much more compact design. CG is going to be a little closer. It's a true long iron replacement. So it's going to play and obviously perform a little bit more like that long iron.
Yeah.
Let's put a 3 iron
So
on.
speaking of long irons, let's do it.
Excellent.
This one is Ping's i230, so it has some more tech packed in there than your typical, you know, muscle back or a small cavity back.
Right.
But I am kind of curious. We've now seen this massive increase in distance going from the 7 wood to the 3 hybrid, 25 yards of additional distance, a massive drop in spin. I wonder where this one fits. high, but certainly not 7-wood high.
No, not 7-wood high. Came out low. Interesting. We got 2 miles an hour less club head speed, which is to be expected because it's shorter.
Sure, shorter.
15 degrees, 3640 spin, 205 carry. Similar to the 7-wood, but in a different way. So take it away, Kris. How are you?
Yeah.
Who are
Figure
you
this one out,
offering
Kris.
this to versus the 7-wood?
Sure. Now, I mean, demographic of player, like we were kind of talking about for set composition, I would expect the player to be obviously a little better ball striker, somebody that is looking specifically for a particular number, also particular launch window, the ability to shape shots, curve shots, and just be in a little more control of their golf ball. So, I mean, when it comes to demographic of player that you're going to make recommendations for these categories of clubs, I mean, 7-wood is going to be for the player that is looking for most forgiveness, higher launch, higher spin. Fairway wood, obviously the most forgiving option out of the 3 that we tested. Now, when you transition into hybrid, going to be slightly less forgiving than what we saw in 7-wood, but a much easier option than, yes, much easier option than this traditional long iron. Now, this guy in particular, I don't fit many 3-irons.
Well, and to be fair, we're kind of at the low end speed-wise of a 3-iron, right? So, but to be fair, if we went to the high end, that 7-wood would have been a pitching wedge, you know? And so we had to kind of pick a speed which we wanted to try to show the attributes of both performance-wise without really penalizing one versus the other.
And I think this just goes to the question of like trying to find where a particular club fits in your setup. I mean, we're seeing right here, I mean, even though lofts are pretty similar, you're gonna be getting different distances. And I think that's where it comes into the importance of getting fit. Like, don't just assume that, you know, okay, well, what's a replacement for a 3-iron? Well, it's the same loft, so it's a 3 hybrid, and just assume that you're gonna be getting the same carry numbers.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. And that's, again, where the fitter comes into play. They can help you figure out what are your carry distances, where does this club fit? Is it too tight up against one of your other clubs that you don't need it? Again, it just goes back to the importance of get with somebody who's knowledgeable, knows what's going on, and can help you figure out the best option for your bag.